with the
I love pistachio lattes. Beyond amazing. Loaded video came up. Sorry about that.
You're totally good. You cut through this, or is there?
I'll come back and see if I can do anything. It picked it up on the video. But we are live on a new episode of medicinalmoves.com. Slight technical difficulty, but we have a very special episode today. We are joined by someone that is highly decorated in her field, highly accomplished, and is a huge resource for us. A woman that really got it herself, someone that I'm very proud to be connected to. The fiber coach, Miss Shelby Watts. Welcome to medicinalmoves.com.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That is quite the introduction. I don't know if I deserve all that.
I definitely think you do. I have so much respect for anyone that can acquire information and skills like you have, put it all together, and then you even have the proprietary products and the outreach to match. That's quite an evolution. So I definitely appreciate all your hard work.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Well, I think the first question I want to ask you is, what is metabolism?
Yeah. So metabolism is basically the way that your body is responding to what you're putting into it. As we know, everybody loves food. Food is one of the most important things in this world, I believe. And a lot of your experience and the things that you're feeling and the way that you will live your life has to do with the food that you put into your body and the way your body responds to that. So a lot of what I talk about is having to do with how your body responds to what you put inside of it. And mainly, the big thing that I really focus on a lot is insulin resistance. Have you heard much about insulin resistance? What's your experience there?
I think you educated me significantly on insulin resistance recently. And what sticks out to me, I don't want to steal any thunder, but what sticks out to me, if I'm not mistaken, is how we get it wrong looking at glucose and not insulin. So I would love for you to just educate us and get me really sharp on that, because I did learn that from you.
Yeah, totally. Am I allowed to share my screen on here? I have something pulled up I could show you.
Yeah, if you can, that'd be awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this is one of my favorite diagrams, and if you've watched my videos, you've seen this diagram. Let's see, share screen. All right. So this right here, does that look familiar to you?
Let's see. I think I have to add it. There we go. Okay, yes.
This thing right here. All right. Okay, so essentially, the craziest thing about this, before we start with that, is that oftentimes when people think about insulin and when they think about glucose or blood sugar, they think, oh, I'm not diabetic, I don't have to worry about that. Or I'm not pre-diabetic, I don't have to worry about that. When in reality, that's kind of the whole reason why we're in such a metabolic crisis we're in, because the classic American nutrition advice tells us, well, don't worry about it till it's a problem, okay? So here's really what is happening here and what we see is every time you eat something, your blood sugar goes from a normal range, it goes up, okay? Whether you're eating protein, whether you're eating fiber, whether you're eating fat, whatever it is, carbs, everything, your blood sugar goes up. And in order to bring it back down, your body releases insulin. So insulin goes up, sugar comes back down, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you're following the standard American diet and nutrition plan, then you've had your breakfast, and before this insulin has a chance to come back down to that normal level, it's still high up here. And then we say, oh, it's 10 o'clock. It's time to have a snack. So what do?
More glucose.
More glucose. Okay. So your blood sugar goes up, and then your body has to release some insulin to bring that sugar back down. So sugar comes back down. And then we kind of wait a while, but now it's lunchtime and it's time to eat again. And your insulin still hasn't come back down. So what do?
It's more glucose because I'm feeling
more glucose. Okay, so glucose goes up, And then insulin has to go up to bring that glucose back down. So glucose comes back down. And we get on this, what we call this insulin glucose roller coaster all throughout the day, where you're just bringing your glucose up and then insulin kicks in and your glucose is down. And you get this up and down pattern that really is like a roller coaster. And at the top, you're feeling all right. But as soon as the insulin kicks in and your blood sugar is low, then you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to eat something. I don't feel good. I'm dizzy. I have headaches. I have cravings. All these things. And people will say, well, I have hypoglycemia. And a lot of people, if you were to track their blood sugar, you would see not only do you have hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, you actually have hyperglycemia right before your hypoglycememia. But up here at the top, you feel all right and you feel good. So we don't track those symptoms. And
Right.
Western medicine and big pharma has just taught us, well, don't worry about what's before. It's down here where you feel like crap. Let's fix that. So back to the diagram, what gets really crazy is day after day after day after day of this, your insulin gets way up here. And then at some point, your body's pumping out so much insulin that it can't handle the sugar anymore. So it's time to eat and blood sugar starts going up, right? And it cranks out as much insulin as it can. And then finally, at some point, it can't handle that sugar anymore. And now your blood sugar goes up. Now you have, quote unquote, high blood sugar. And then what do they do for you?
Give you a needle.
Here's the drug, right? So all the while, this has been sky high for decades, years, if not decades, for a lot of people. And they're having all these issues of insulin resistance. And then finally, their body just can't handle it anymore. Then sugar goes up. And then we're like, oh no, we have to do something. And then here's your drugs. So that's a lot of the awareness that I spread, is that we need to figure out how to fix this before this gets out of control.
Man, I have so many questions that I was probably thinking out loud while you were going through that. But, and I don't mean to cut you off either.
No, go ahead.
But how do you build muscle in an environment like that? How do you have the energy to do anything? How do you have the ability to resist temptation when it comes to wanting to cure, self-medicate through your food? Like how do you just get this straight? Because these are little experiments that I do, and the agitation that comes is the obviousness of this being a disorder, right?
Yep.
We live like this. Everybody lives through this. The only way to cure it is to get off of the roller coaster.
100%. Yep. So it's really crazy. There's a metabolic scientist that I just adore. He's awesome. Have you heard of Dr. Benjamin Bickman?
No.
So he's a scientist here. I'm in Utah. He's here in Utah too. And he just talks a lot about insulin resistance and ways that we can mitigate that. And one of the things he talks about is that insulin is a growth hormone, but it's a growth hormone for fat, right?
Mhm.
And you cannot grow your fat cells without insulin. So
Yes.
to be in this extremely high insulin state all the time, and then on top of that, you're eating extra calories because your sugar's going up and down and up and down. It really is this really difficult thing to get off of. And can you build muscle while you're in that state? Yes. But it turns out insulin resistance has many ways that it manifests. One of the biggest being just fatigue, chronic fatigue and inflammation. And if you've ever tried to work out when you're fatigued and inflamed, that gets really, really difficult.
Yes.
And it's funny because a lot of people talk to me and they're like, well, Shelby, why does this sound like snake oil? Why does it sound like what you're talking about is going to fix all of my issues? But it turns out if you can fix the root of the issues, which for a lot of people is insulin resistance, you can fix a lot of the issues that you have with your body. So I could talk all day about these things, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to talk about a recent fast that I had just a few days ago, I did about 36
Nice.
hours.
Awesome.
But you start feeling crazy at about 30 something hours. The cravings kind of kick in there. And for me, the night before, when I get about that 24 hours, right?
Uh-huh.
I know that sleep is my best friend, because
Uh-huh.
I'll be able to get that many more hours. I might be able to have a fasted workout.
Right.
My question is, what damage would you say anyone is doing, if there is any damage, to, I guess, kind of getting off the roller coaster temporarily, but then getting back on it? Is there something like a whiplash that you could get? Like, am I killing my gains because of my inconsistency?
Well,
Things like that.
let's flip that question. If you eat totally clean for one day, are you healthy?
No.
No, right? So one day of like, okay, I kind of fell off the bandwagon. It's not going to kill you. Um, it's the little things over time that are going to compound. And if you're making those good decisions over time, then you're going to see those good results. But
Yeah.
having this black and white mindset, and this is something I have been meaning to make more videos about, but having this black and white mindset is really so toxic because we all know we're not healthy after one day. So why are we unhealthy after one day? Right? And getting out of that mindset can be really helpful. And the other thing with fasting, if you've been experimenting with intermittent fasting or anything like that, one of my other favorites, her name is Dr. Mindy Peltz. She says she's kind of the like the expert on fasting as a woman and how you can do that with your cycle to support your hormones. One of the things she says is just as important as how long you fasted is what you broke your fast with.
I've heard
So
that.
you need to be making sure that we're breaking our fast with the correct things, because it really will make or break your experience in that fast and how good you feel after your fast.
Definitely guilty of dirty keto and breaking the fast the wrong way. All those, most definitely.
And that's okay to have the self-awareness to be able to admit that to everybody. That's great.
I think that you probably find it hugely beneficial as well, but through fasting and kind of settling the metabolic system, if you will, the mental health benefits, the clarity, the focus. That's the dragon that I think I'm really chasing.
Absolutely. So there's a huge tie between our gut microbiome and our mental health. Our gut microbiome makes 90% of our serotonin.
Hmm.
And this one, I'm not sure, maybe I should look it up. I want to say 50% of our dopamine. Okay.
Okay.
And it's not your gut is making it, it's these organisms in your gut are making these things. And when we fast, it really helps those good microorganisms, as long as we're repopulating with the good microorganisms, it helps them kind of take control again because the bad microorganisms are the ones that are not producing those hormones for us. And I would bet if you were to look at the gut microbiome of most people that struggle with depression and anxiety and all of these things, their guts are wrecked. And I've seen it. I have someone who's very close to me that he started using the fiber that I talk about, and he had
Mm.
some major issues with it because his gut just could not handle it. And then also on top of that, he struggles with bipolar. And I don't think that that is a random thing, right? And I have another friend who also struggles with bipolar, and it's not a random thing that their guts are so affected when they have good fiber in them.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a random thing. There are definitely ties there to our gut microbiome and our mental health. And looping this back to fasting, fasting can be a really amazing reset for those organisms inside of there. And so oftentimes when you talk to fasting experts, they'll say, okay, now that you've kind of cleaned out your digestive system and given it a reset, when you break your fast, make sure you're having good probiotic foods to help repopulate your gut again.
We're probably going to go in that segue of probiotic, prebiotic, and
Oh yeah,
postbiotic because
sure.
I'm a little fuzzy on it. But as far as microbiome, I was just going to say something that stuck out to me again on that, a quote that I don't know if you've ever heard it. You can't be in a bad mood when your stomach's at peace. It's impossible, right?
Yes.
So I think that speaks for itself when it comes to the
Totally.
microbiome. It's everything. And people forget the food that we eat, it never goes in our body. That's what this incredible system is. It
Yeah.
absorbs all the nutrients from it and shoots it out. We
Yeah.
never really get the physical food. We get its energy.
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way. I like that.
Yeah.
The the gut microbiome, if you're at all a reader, there's this really awesome book called The Potato Hack.
Mm.
I should know who it's written by, but I don't. But so the first couple chapters of it, it sounds like it was written by Mr. Potato Head himself.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
potato propaganda, but there's a couple chapters in it on the gut microbiome, and it is fascinating. I'll link that over to you, but definitely check that out if you're looking for gut microbiome stuff, because it goes all throughout our gut microbiome while we're inside of our mothers and as we go through the birth canal and all sorts of things. It's really, really fascinating.
Really is. When you say that, I'm reading Good Energy right now by Casey Means.
Oh, yes. Love her.
Hmm. She's educating me as well. I'm learning a lot of things. So,
Yep. Cool.
uh-huh.
Cool. So yeah, the prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic. Uh,
Yes.
so prebiotics, those are going to be like your fibers. Okay. So anything that you are going to eat that's going to feed your gut microbiome, because we don't digest fiber, right? The fiber is not for us, it's for keeping those organisms alive. And I like to say, like, you wouldn't go out and buy a puppy and bring that puppy home and make a nice little home for it and have its little bed and its little cage and toys for it and all these things and then not feed it, right?
Right.
Like, you care for this thing. So when you are going and taking probiotics, which is the microorganisms, those are live microorganisms that can be in capsules, it can be in yogurt, it can be in kimchi or other fermented foods. When you take those, you need to be taking the prebiotics because that's what's going to feed them. And if you're not doing that, then you're just kind of flushing them out because they don't want to stay with you because they're starving. And so prebiotic, fiber, probiotic, living organisms. And then postbiotic is the things that they're going to make for you. So that 90% of your serotonin, that's them. They're making serotonin for you. 50% of your dopamine, they're making that for you as well.
Postbiotics.
Postbiotics.
Probiotic is a living thing. I'm just trying to think like ginger bug. Would that be a probiotic?
Uh-huh.
Kimchi would be a probiotic. Pickles.
Yep. As long as they're not like if you're getting just classic pickles, those ones are just soaked in vinegar. You've got to get the ones that actually have like live active cultures in them to get those good. So that's another thing is sometimes you'll see, oh, this is a fermented food, and then you look at the ingredients and it's like they just poured vinegar over these veggies. So there's a difference between I guess pickling and fermenting things. But yeah.
Educate me. So pickling is what I'm probably thinking I'm about to do to get my health together with some onions, right? I just throw them in some vinegar and now my gut
I
health
mean,
is going to be crazy.
vinegar is excellent for helping with controlling your blood sugar, right? We hear
Mhm.
all about how taking a shot of apple cider vinegar is great before a meal to help control that blood sugar.
Right.
um, but if you're looking for those microorganisms, we want things that are fermented
I
and have
totally get it. It's got to
things.
be soda. It's got to
Yeah,
be soda. There's got to be bubbles because it's living.
could be, but like yogurt isn't really bubbly.
That's true. Okay. That's something to think on.
Yeah. And there's another website if you're really interested in figuring out like, hey, I have these digestive symptoms and I want to figure out which microorganisms I should be getting. It's called usprobioticguide.com. And you
Okay.
can go on there and say, okay, these are the symptoms I'm having. And then it'll give you, okay, these are the strains you need, and here's some products that have it. So that's a really cool one too.
Before we get to your products, I got to share with you. I tried the home soda making thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got the ginger bug and it started making its bubbles and then it stayed alive for a while. But every time it came time to making soda, my timing was just off. So it kind of got frustrating and I gave up on it. But is that a good, is that wise? Is that smart? Or is
I
it cheaper to just buy kombucha?
Well, it depends on your goals. What are your goals with this?
I'm really just trying to get back into shape. I had an accident a few years ago
Man.
and my body just started getting sick and slow and old for the first time. And I'm trying to fight through that with movement. That's what I do at medicinalmoves.com. So I do all these things to stay active.
Uh-huh.
And just like through my journey, just to segue real quick, I
Yeah.
started getting injured because I was overtraining, because I had no, conception of maybe my ligaments got weak, I got weak, atrophy, et cetera, et cetera. And it just put me in a bad place for training for a period. And then I kind of got that together, and now I'm trying to get out of this, situation and fully take charge of my health. So those are my goals. I'm recovering from injury, and just wanting to be healthier and fit again, muscular.
Totally. Love that. So
Yeah.
I will be the first to tell everybody, you can do this without me. The products that I sell and me as your coach just make things easier. But I have some awesome tips that even if you never bought anything that I sell, or never talk to me again, you follow these principles and you're going to see great results with your health. I actually have a guy out in California. He was kind of out of the job, and I did a 30-minute health consultation with him, and he's like, well, I can't afford the products. What can I do? So he kind of put together his own little thing, following the products that I use, but not the products, and doing the same things. And he's seen incredible results, lowering his blood pressure, lowering his blood sugars. He's a type 2 diabetic. He's seen his fasting blood sugar go down. He's losing weight. He has more energy. He has less cravings, like all these things that, yeah, it's science backed. So anyone can do this. Whether or not you use the products, that's up to you. It can just be a really good way to kind of kickstart things and say, okay, this is going to help move me in the right direction. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So cool. So like we said, kind of the whole crux of this is insulin resistance, right? And for 7 out of 8 Americans are metabolically unhealthy. And for the vast majority of Americans, if you can follow these principles, you will see a great increase in your metabolic health. And so we take it at the root and we say, okay, so when in the day is your insulin going to be the lowest?
1 o'clock.
Like in the morning. So
your insulin would be the lowest. No, I'm sorry, you're right. Not the glucose is the highest.
right. Yeah, I guess after it drops down, but yeah, so in the morning, that's when your insulin is lowest. And so if we can extend that low insulin for just a bit longer, if your insulin is low, that's when you can finally tap into your fat burning. Because as soon as insulin goes up, it's like, oh, we got to store fat, right? So this is why we say intermittent fasting, because that is what's really going to help keep the insulin low in the morning. And for most people, it actually, so in talking to Dr. Bickman, the metabolic scientist that I really love, he says that skipping dinner might be actually the most beneficial. But for a lot of people, that's just not feasible, right? Like we want to enjoy our dinner with our families, and it's such a social event. So breakfast is kind of the easiest socially acceptable meal to skip. Okay. And so we keep that insulin and we keep that glucose low for just a couple hours longer in the day. And what that does is day by day, it steps your insulin down. And when I talk about when I talk about intermittent fasting, I'm talking getting everything you need in a smaller window, not just starving yourself. And then it's time to eat. And you're like, okay, I'm going to eat whatever I can shove into my mouth. So I have 2 guidelines that I talk about when I say everything you need. The first one is a protein guideline. Have you ever tracked your protein before?
I try to on my Nutrition Pal. Is it?
Okay.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
My
one of
Fitness Pal.
Okay, yeah. So, and a lot of people are like, Shelby, what's the best way to track my protein? And I'm like, I don't do that. So I'm not going to tell you to do that because it doesn't serve me and I don't like it. But what is helpful is,
You don't track your protein at all.
so listen, what is helpful is every now and then I will take an accounting and say, okay, yesterday was kind of a normal day of what I've been eating lately. And I'll go through and say, okay, I ate this and I ate this and I ate this. And I already kind of have like a mental note in my head. Like I know when I eat this, I'm getting 25 grams of protein, right? And so I go through and I say, okay, this is everything I've normally been eating. And here's how much protein I've been getting per day. And from there, I'll say, okay, I'm looking good. I'm hitting the goal of what I think I should be getting. Or I'll say, okay, I should probably, every time I eat protein, I should probably like double it. Or one time out of every time I'm eating protein throughout the day, I should probably double it. And I say, don't go up all at once. Like if you, oh, sorry. So if you find that your goal is like double what you're currently getting, don't go up at once. Go about 25 grams until it feels comfortable. So if you're getting 45 and you should be getting 100, the next day go up to 70 and keep doing 70 until that 70 feels good. And then you can say, okay, I can do another 25 and do that until you hit your 100 goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, those are rookie numbers.
So you would be shocked the number of people that I talk to that are in that range that are like, oh my gosh, I'm only getting 45 grams of protein. Because when you go and look at the American like government guidelines, these guidelines are just enough to keep you alive. They're not to keep you thriving. And they say, well, according to this, I'm getting the recommended daily amount, when it's like, yeah, if you want to be alive, but like we want to thrive. So the guideline that I have kind of found to be the most helpful is 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight per day. Okay. And that's for weight loss. That's for weight gain. It should be like a good spot for you. 0.6 to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight per day. And for most people, that's doable. There are, so if you go and look at, I forget who it's like the American Sports Medicine Society. I'm not sure what their title is. They'll tell you 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. But for a lot of people, that's just not really, it's really hard for them to get, right? And it can be really discouraging and it can be too much. Like if you're not trying to like really be a bodybuilder, 0.6 to 0.8 can be great. And a lot of people I'll say like, look, if counting it isn't serving you and it's getting really complicated, just get in your mind, hey, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat protein. And that goes a long way in helping people as well. So that's really all the guidelines I give. Oh, the other thing with protein, people say, well, what's the best protein powder? And I say, or what's the best protein to eat? And I say, the best one is the one that fits with your body. It tastes good and it doesn't have sugar with it. And it's convenient. Like those things are going to look different for you than what they're going to look like for me. So look at the protein you're already eating and increase from there and supplement when necessary, because it's totally okay to supplement to bridge the gap between what you're getting and what you need.
Awesome. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So that's the whole protein guideline that I give is just that. And then fiber, I say 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day. And do the same thing when you have some time, sit down and write out everything you ate and figure out how much fiber you're getting. Most Americans are getting like 10 grams of fiber per day, and that's a far cry from 25. So you will feel that on your digestion if you try to do it too fast. So go up about 5 to 7 grams per day.
10 might be a max out for me, if I'm really being honest, because fiber is so important.
Yep. So you got to step it up by degrees and be a little bit more slow with that one. But the really cool thing about what that fiber and protein do is that they're both scientifically proven to increase your fasting levels of GLP-1. So I say you're getting, this is like an investment that you're getting the fiber and protein you need in your eating window so that the GLP-1, which is your hormone that tells your body to not be hungry and it slows how fast your stomach empties. And it's just an investment to make sure that you're not feeling hungry during that fasting window.
I have questions about good sources of fiber and if there's any timing element as we incorporate fiber, because the best fiber I get is Metamucil.
Okay.
I love it because I don't get it in my diet, and that's crazy. Yep. Cruciferous vegetables, like those are great, but I don't eat those anymore. I used to eat handfuls of kale. It's just we get busy, we stop eating that one little thing, that one element. And
absolutely.
Our health changes.
Well, and we look around and you will be shocked at how little fiber there is in food all across the board. Even if you're getting produce and eating from the outsides of the grocery store, right? And eating from the produce section, it's still really low, like surprisingly low in fiber. Yeah. So that one, especially with fiber, I say, yeah, go ahead and bridge the gap between what you're getting and what you need with the supplement. That's awesome. But if you're going to do a supplement, I have a couple of tips. The first one being, make sure that it's from diverse sources. Metamucil is just psyllium husk. And so that one, it's like I mean, is it better than not doing fiber? Absolutely. But if we're looking to feed that gut microbiome and help it thrive, we want diverse sources. And some fiber supplements, there are a lot more coming out lately that have a lot more sources in them. But yeah, if you're not doing other fiber and Metamucil is what you got, that's fine. Just also make sure it's the non-sugar one. Are you doing the non-sugar one?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look. I think it's orange flavored.
No.
I was going to say with the fiber you're talking about, colors would help, right? If I eat a lot of different colors of fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables, I'll have diverse minerals, right?
Yeah. So we like to say at our house that we prioritize protein, sorry. And we try to eat 30 or more different plants every week.
Wow.
So
No, that sounds awesome.
well,
I don't get enough.
think outside the box, right? Like if you're going to eat some cottage cheese, throw 3 different kinds of seeds on it and you're not even going to notice except, hey, look, it's crunchy now, right? When we do, my kids are kind of catching on and they don't like it, but I'll throw some beans into things and it's like, look, now we have some beans in here. There's another plant we've added. Any spice that you add is a plant. So you can count your cumin, you can count your oregano, you can count your rosemary, right? All of these things are different plants and they've got fiber in them. Okay. So you can count those plants. Go for it.
Paprika?
Paprika is a plant.
It's got a little fiber in it?
Minimal, right? You're not going to count it to your overall grams unless you're like knocking back a teaspoon of it or something. But when we talk about this gut flora and gut microbiome and the diversity, that's going to help your diversity if you're having diverse plants.
It's okay to spoon feed your gut.
Exactly. So that's with a fiber, we want it to be diverse. We want it to be sugar-free because the classic Metamucil doesn't have sugar. And then if you get the sugar-free one, last I checked, it was aspartame, which I don't completely hate, but a lot of people hate aspartame. So just be mindful of that. Another thing is when you mix your fiber supplement with water, it should turn into a gel. We want it to gel in your stomach, though, not in the bottle. And so that thickness really helps with satiety. So it's going to help you feel full physically. And then, of course, it's fiber. So it's going to help you with the GLP-1 production. And then we say it coats your carbs and makes it so they can't hit your bloodstream as fast.
So you should take fiber right before you eat?
Exactly. So this one is it's been proven time and time again that if you eat fiber before the rest of your meal, it reduces your blood sugar spikes. So specifically the one that I recommend, the one that I sell, it reduces blood sugar spikes by about 18 to 20%. And then it also reduces insulin spikes by about 13%. So that one.
Salad could do all this.
Salad. So you want to make sure. So the one that I sell, it's 4 grams of fiber. So if you're going to do a salad, make sure you're getting that 4 grams. Like that's kind of the base.
And make sure it's sugar-free, which is really hard.
Which it blows my mind the number of products out there that are like, oh yeah, this is fiber, and then it has sugar in it. So just be careful with that one. But yeah, the one I decided to do my own little experiment with it. Have you seen my Taco Bell videos? I should probably repost and make those.
I don't think I've seen those, but I'll be looking for them.
I was like, I love N=1 science, right? So a sample size of 1, just myself. So I was like, I'm going to put this fiber to the test. So I went to Taco Bell and I said, I'm going to get a taco and some cinnamon twists. And it turns out if you eat your cinnamon twists first, you should see like a major blood sugar spike, right? Because we want our taco first. Mom was right. She said, don't eat dessert first because it's going to ruin your dinner. And you see a huge blood sugar spike, right? So I went to Taco Bell one day. I had fasted 8 hours before. I ordered my cinnamon twists and taco, tracked my blood sugar for 2 hours. And sure enough, blood sugar went up to 140 and back down. And I was starving because all I had was cinnamon twists and a taco. That was poor experiment design. The next day I went back and I said, okay, I'm going to do this fiber supplement and then cinnamon twists and then a taco and track my blood sugar over 2 hours. And my blood sugar did not even go over 100. Went up to 99, was a nice round little curve, and back down to normal. And it wasn't this spike crash because that fiber is so powerful at mitigating those blood sugar spikes, even if you eat your cinnamon twist first.
4 grams.
And I wasn't starving because I had some fiber in me.
Okay, awesome tip.
So yeah. Okay, so what did we say? We said multiple sources, no sugar, gels up. We also want it to be convenient, right? If it's not convenient, you're not going to use it. So
Right.
single serve sachets, if you can, is going to be great because not everybody can bring their whole jar of fiber and scoop it and do all the things. So make sure it's convenient and then make sure it tastes good, right? Because if it doesn't taste good, you're not going to use it. So a little bit superficial, but the one I like hits all those boxes for me.
And not superficial, very pragmatic. I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, totally. So that's basically all it is with the fiber. And when we talk about reducing that insulin resistance over time, essentially what we do is I always tell people like make sure you're doing your fiber and your protein, and the intermittent fasting and all those things. But if you want to throw the products in, the first product I recommend is a yerba mate tea. Have you seen much about yerba mate?
I've heard a lot of things about yerba mate, and I know it's incredible. I'm gonna want to ask you about the caffeine content
Yeah, totally.
and AOX, right? It's got a lot of It's got caffeine and antioxidants.
So, yep. So yerba mate has caffeine in it naturally. But for a long time, when they were studying yerba mate, scientists thought that it wasn't caffeine. They thought that it was another compound called matein. They called it matein because they're like, this is something different. The way that it's reacting when we put it into bodies, it's doing something different. After years of research, they come to find out it's not matein, it's caffeine in the presence of chlorogenic acid and theobromine in high concentrations. And those two things, for a lot of people, make it so that it's a lot smoother, gentle energy with no spike and no crash. And so the amount of caffeine that you'll find in yerba mate products is highly variable across the board because if you get, and I don't have one, but that yellow can that you see at the grocery store is probably the most common one that people would buy. If you look at the ingredients for it, they're actually adding synthetic caffeine to it, or they're adding green tea caffeine to it. And they add all sorts of caffeine and flavorings. And it's like, why are we taking this beautiful yerba mate leaf and adding more caffeine to it? So it kind of blows my mind. So the one that I like has, it's just yerba mate extract, and they only use the green leaves. And the green leaves have the best, most bioavailable, higher concentration of the chlorogenic acid and the theobromine. And then since it is a natural product, we say it has about 100 milligrams of caffeine. We don't have the exact number because it's going to differ based on the plant. But we say about 100 milligrams, which is about the same as a cup of coffee. And so if you were going to do the full plan that I talk about with intermittent fasting, it's one yerba mate in the morning, as close to waking up as you can, another before, with, or after lunch. So that's about 200 milligrams of caffeine, which if you look at the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, who talks about pregnancy and nursing and stuff, 200 milligrams is safe for pregnancy and nursing. And I'm like, okay, it's safe for pregnancy and nursing is probably fine for you. And I did it all throughout my pregnancy with this baby.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
But little caveat is I only do one serving because I'm kind of in like a maintenance and I don't feel like I need the full 2 doses. It also, yerba mate is scientifically proven to increase GLP-1 production also. And so for me, when I do 2, I forget about food too much and I'm still nursing this baby. And I'm like, nope, I can only do 1 because my body reacts to that and says, no, we don't need food ever in our life. So
it's like that. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
I might have to invest at yerba mate. It can be bitter, right? And I've also heard you have to drink it out of a special cup. But other than that, I think I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So mine it's one of the things we said we like about the fiber is it's convenient, right? So the yerba mate is also convenient. Comes in an individual sachet. You shake it up with water. I should have it next to me, but I don't. Sorry. But it comes in a sachet. You shake it up with water. You can do it cold. You can do it hot. It's sweetened with stevia. And it also has some natural lemon flavoring because, if you talk to anyone, yerba mate is bitter and gross. And some people say, well, I'll just put sugar in it. And it's like, okay, you're killing all of the beneficial things. But the lemon also is really nice too.
So it's a tasty superfood. The
Pretty
version
much.
you had.
Yeah. Well, it's not tasty on its own. You got to get a good one that's going to be good.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty much. Oh, did we talk about fat burning in yerba mate?
No, I
It's
don't think we talked about that benefit. You
yeah,
told me about the GLP-1 and you never want any food anymore.
right.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Um, but the fat burning. So yerba mate is also scientifically proven to increase your fatty acid oxidation. So they would hook people up to like a oxygen carbon dioxide. Like they could see how much carbon dioxide is coming out of these people while exercising. And the simple act of doing yerba mate before helps to increase how much carbon dioxide they were expelling. So their fatty acid oxidation. And so basically, now you're intermittent fasting, your insulin's low, you're burning more fat, and your brain really loves to run on fat. And if
Right.
you're like a keto nerd and you're doing finger pricks for keto, like my brother, he is a huge keto nerd.
Yeah.
And when he was doing keto, he would drink the yerba mate that we sell. And he noticed that his ketone production would just go way up. Or if he had carbs the night before, he could get back into ketosis a lot faster when using the yerba mate.
I like that a lot.
Yep. Really cool stuff.
Not to compare the two, like maybe they deserve to be compared, but green tea, because I know there's gunpowder green tea that's really high in caffeine. Would
Mhm.
that be anywhere near beneficial like yerba mate, or is this yerba mate truly in a league of its own and it's more than just the caffeine?
I would say that it's truly in a league of its own. It's more than just that caffeine because you are getting that chlorogenic acid and that theobromine.
Hmm.
Chlorogenic acid is an incredibly powerful antioxidant, and theobromine is the feel good chemical that's in coffee and chocolate. So it's in high amounts in chocolate, but it's in higher amounts in that yerba mate. So I would say, yeah, it isn't in a league of its own. And if you are like interested at all in doing yerba mate, you need to make sure that you're doing one that's an extract. The loose leaf isn't going to be as powerful. You might see some differences, right? Because it is still the same plant, but a lot
Sure.
of these yerba mates that you buy online or at health food stores are not the young green leaves. And you really want those young green leaves concentrated. The other thing is the fire roasting. We have a proprietary fire roasting process. And what that does is it helps make those compounds more available. But sometimes that can produce compounds we don't want. And so you also need to have a very good purification process. And so from start to finish, the company that I sell for has a proprietary process that one gets you those really good compounds, but two also takes out all the bad stuff. And then, of course, makes it convenient and tastes good and all those things.
I love it. Well, if anyone wants to get their hands on this product, how do we get that done? Do
Absolutely.
they go to your IG? Where do we go?
Yeah. So we can go here. You see my screen?
Let me share it. It's on there.
All right. So this is me. I'm on Instagram. You can click right here, this link tree, and that'll take you to a link where you can actually, if you want to talk to me one-on-one and say, hey, would this work for me? How would this go for me and my body and my goals? I'd love to do that. I do free 30-minute Zoom health consultations. You can book that there, or on that same link, you can purchase the products. It comes out to be a little over $5 per day, comes with 2 servings of the tea, 1 serving of fiber. And of course, my coaching, I always reach out as soon as I see orders to say hi. If you're not on Instagram, you can also go over to, let's see. I don't know if you can see the Facebook page now. There you go. Present. Sorry, this was much more seamless in my head.
That's okay. I can put it back up if you want.
There we go. All right.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my Facebook page. Right here at the top, you can go to that same link tree and you can say hi to me there. I love all the engagement. It's been really difficult for me to keep up with. So if you have a specific question for me, feel free to message me. I'm a bit faster at that. Or just book a consult. I always say, like, making the videos is really fun, but talking to real people and really just changing lives and helping to educate people who actually want to be educated, not like middle schoolers, which is what I used to teach, is really fun. It's the best part of what I do.
Well, I appreciate you making the time, and I hope anybody that was able to listen to this conversation or is listening to this conversation now and interested in getting connected does so. Um, I can't thank you enough. Was there anything else that you wanted to promote or anything else that is going on in your world that you wanted to share with us before we close out?
Uh, I don't think so. Just those things. I mean, if you're local to Utah, I'm doing an in-person event next week on Saturday. You can find that info on my page. It's in my story right now, but I'll do an actual post. So yeah, we're doing a metabolic health open house with a couple of my friends that we're just really trying to get as much information about metabolic health out in the world. And as soon as we say, well, here's some products that can help, they say, well, take my money. So it's a cool thing. And
Yeah,
like I said, even if you never bought the products, like use these principles we talked about today, and you will see results because it's science-based.
absolutely. Thank you for doing the research and thank you for doing your work. I hope that we can come together again sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Until the next time,
Yep. Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
it was so nice to meet you.
Okay.
Medicinalmoves.com signing out.